What's up guys, welcome to Poor Man Mods. Today I'm going to show you how to make the door panels in your Mark III Supra look awesome. But actually this could give you ideas to make the door panels in any car look better, but how I'm going to show you today will be for the Mark III Supra. I did this one without doing a video and I posted it on the Supra pages and got a lot of interest on it, so I'm making a video for you guys to show you how to do it and actually how easy it is. So I replaced the fabric here with some urban camo velvet. I wanted to pick a fabric that kind of matched the color of the car, and that's why I went with this. It's the only one that I liked that was affordable. I would have liked to do the HKS fabric. It doesn't match, but it's awesome, but it's super expensive. I want to say I got like 3 yards of this for 30 bucks, so hell of a deal, and it looks pretty awesome. And down here, I did not replace the carpet down here, I dyed it. I thought about putting this same fabric down here, but when I took the door off, I noticed that this had a lot of dirt and mud on it. And I figured if I put this fabric down here, it's gonna get covered in dirt and crap and just look like shit. So I'll just make that black. So I'm gonna go over to the driver's side door, take that door panel off. I'll show you how to do that, and I'll show you how to do all this and make your door panels look awesome. The only tools and materials that you'll need some spray adhesive, you'll need a hot glue gun, and just a Phillips screwdriver really. And you should be able to do this yourself pretty easily. Alright, to get this door panel off, there's a couple screws along the bottom. There's a screw in here, and one down in here. And one here, one here. These are all Phillips. Pop these two caps off with a flathead. These things can be a little tight. Somehow it went inside of the door. Now that one went under that car. Perfect. And those will just stay in there. And the ones on the bottom are going to be hard to see, but there's a couple down here. Alright, once all the screws on the bottom are out, we got the one in here, we got the two here, the two up front, lift up on the door panel, and then you'll have to undo the connection for the locks. Undo the wire that goes back in here, and your door panel is off. We interrupt your normally scheduled broadcast for a little review of Hagwood soaps. They reached out to me to review some of their soaps. They sent me their Aloha Grit Edition soap, and I got my hands pretty freaking filthy. Rubbed them in some oil and cat litter and grease, so my hands are pretty freaking gross. I've been using this soap now for a couple weeks. Now, it isn't the cheapest soap out there, but I like this a whole lot more than Gojo actually. I think it does a better job, and it doesn't dry your hands out like Gojo does. And so there is like a pumice or a sand in there that gives it the grit, so it does a really good job cleaning. And it smells really good too. And the package that it comes with is waterproof, so you can leave it in this, you could leave it in the shower, leave it near the sink, and this packaging will protect it. So as you can see, I have used it quite a few times. It is pretty dirty. And I'm going to show you how well it actually cleans my hands. Now, when I use Gojo, it gets most of it off, but it doesn't make it perfect. I think this stuff actually does a better job. It smells fantastic, and it leaves your hands feeling really nice. I don't like the way your hands feel after Gojo. So, rub it all around. And we'll see how clean this can get. Keep in mind, this was oil and grease and some like stay dry kitty litter that I rub my hands in. And there you go. My hands are pretty much perfectly clean. I think that does a lot better job than Gojo. I actually really like this stuff, and your hands just feel nicer after using it. So they actually didn't pay me to say any of this. They just sent me 2 bars to try out, and I really like this stuff. So I recommend you guys giving it a shot. I'll have a link in the description to their soap and their website down below. And like I said, this is their Aloha Grit. Smells very good. Big thanks to Hagwood for hooking me up with some of their soap. And now back to your normally scheduled broadcast. We're going to remove both door panel pieces. So this is the fabric one that we're going to replace right here, and this is the carpet. So there are a couple of these clips right here that kind of wrap around the back of the seat. Spread these, and that panel will pop out. Apparently this one was spread pretty good before. Alright, now this panel should pop out. Then you're going to take out all these screws, and that will allow the carpet piece to come out. Alright, there we go. We're also going to take off the cover for this light. Now, as you can see, it's dirty. Very dirty down here from your feet hitting it, you know. This takes a lot of abuse, so I don't see the value in putting nice fabric here. I'm just gonna make it black so you can't see the dirt. Now before we dye it, we're gonna clean this up. And I'm going to use my favorite interior detailer, Jack's Wax Total Interior. I'll have a link to this in the description down below. And then to really clean it, I'll also have a link for this. We're gonna use this brush that goes on my impact driver. So we're gonna get it wet with this, brush it, and then rinse it good. This probably won't make it perfect, but it's definitely gonna get a lot of the crap out. Alright, so now we're gonna remove the fabric from this panel. Surprisingly only held on with staples, so you just peel it up and the fabric will come off. Now when I did the other door panel, I took off this fabric, but I kept the foam backing. I'm gonna try to save the foam backing for this one too. They did use adhesive right here on this line.
I think I just saw the mess. Sorry.
Alright, so I want to keep this foam backing. If yours is really screwed up, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm going to spray some of 3M spray adhesive Super 77 on here just to keep it in place. And if it's a little wrinkly, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Okay, make sure your work surface is super clean, no adhesive, no nothing on it. You don't want to get this fabric dirty. You'll be pretty upset if you get it stained or messed up. So now we have it lined up with the fabric. We're going to cut it. Make sure you have a good amount of overlap, just in case. You can always trim it shorter if you need to later. You don't want it to be too short. Now we have the fabric pulled over about halfway. We're going to spray adhesive on the foam. Don't use a whole lot because you don't want this to seep all the way through the fabric and then it'd be hard on the other side. So don't go crazy with it. Peel back this side and do the same thing. Let that set up for about a minute or so. And if you feel like there's some areas that don't have enough, peel it back and spray some more. Because I know I oversprayed some glue on the table, I'm going to brake clean it, just to make sure it's clean. Alright, so now we can fold this over and we're going to cut some notches out of the fabric where it goes around the clips. And then we're going to take our hot glue gun and hot glue all the way around it instead of doing staples. Okay, we got it trimmed pretty good. You can, be as meticulous with this as you want. Now we're just going to hot glue all the way around and secure it. All right, we're super close to being finished with this panel, but there's two small things we have to do. Right here is where the factory lock is, so we need to cut this out a little bit and fold it over so we can utilize our lock again. And then right here, we need to poke a hole for one of the factory screws.
Commercial.
That is good enough. The door trim piece should go in there and make it look a lot better once those come in. And basically right here, just need to put a slit for your screw to go through. And since I have this out of the car and everything's apart, I'm going to take this time and clean it up.
Yes!
Now you got to just line up the tabs on the back. That can be a little tricky. Make sure they are spread right and it should pop through. Got this piece all cleaned up. It's dry now. We're going to tape off the plastic because we're only going to be dyeing the carpet. We're going to leave the plastic gray. So put some painter's tape on here and dye it. All right, here's what we're going to be using on here. Duplicolor's vinyl and fabric dye. We're using their flat black. Tony wants me to do this a really scientific and precise way and to make it look awesome, and I'm going to do it
Tell them what I told you. That way you can tell them what they should do if they want to do it the...
He's saying that you can spray it on lightly, take a brush, brush it around, brush it in one direction, spray it again, brush it in another direction, spray it up and down, left and right, and all that stuff so you can get all the fibers in all the directions. That seems like a whole lot of work I don't want to do. So we're just going to go for it. Alright, got all the tape peeled off and that's looking really good. So much better than the boring gray. I missed a little spot right there because of the tape, but that's not a big deal. So now we can flip this back over and put the screws in. Alright guys, got the door panel complete. Really wasn't that difficult. I'm not going to show you how to put it back in the car. Pretty simple to put it back in. So it looks a whole lot better than it did before. I put some nice camo velvet right here. It feels super good, and I dyed the carpet on the bottom. You can do whatever you want. You could use different materials. You could change this fabric down here, but I don't know. I don't see the point in changing that because it's just going to get beat up and dirty anyway. But looks way better than it did from the factory, so definitely going to change the look of the interior. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope maybe you learned something, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.